Get ready with me while I tell you about my toxic friend that I cut off after 21 years. Alright, so my friend, let's call her Olivia. Thank you, One Direction. I've known her since kindergarten and everything was fine until we got to high school. She started to get a reputation of being the boy stalker of the entire school. She would somehow find guys' numbers and she would message them, never getting the hint that they weren't interested, and people just weren't too keen on her because they were afraid of her. When it came to boys, there was no boundaries. She actually messaged my sister's boyfriend after she went with me to visit my grandpa while he was in hospice. My sister's boyfriend was with her. She met him for probably 1 second, didn't even say anything, messaged him on Facebook that night and basically said, "Hi, I'm Olivia, we met at the hospital." Girl, why are you sliding into his DMs right now? Not only that, but there was actually a guy that I was talking to. Guess whose DMs that she slid in? He ended up sending me the text messages of proof saying, like, is this your friend? She was hitting on the guy that I was talking to. This is supposed to be my best friend, mind you. We got in a fight. Things were fine. I always end up taking her back because I'm too much of an empath, and I was just like, okay, you made a mistake. She didn't, though, because we ended up going to college together, and this is where things get really bad. There were these two guys. I thought one was cute. She thought the other one was cute. Her guy was also really interesting. He would keep girls' underwear and put them on his fan in his room. So that's the kind of guy that she was going after. I don't even think I ever spoke to my guy. I just thought he was, like, cute. But this is where it gets bad. So we were in, like, the common room one day, and her guy is passing, and me and her are playing pool. He comes in, and he's trying to be, like, all flirtatious and says, like, oh, like, can I play pool with you guys? She walks away. She goes to sit down on the couch, and then she's looking at me, like, angrily, like, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is your moment to shine. The idiotic guy goes, oh, winner gets a kiss. So I'm like, oh my God, Olivia, what are you playing? Like, this was the perfect setup. The guy he didn't even care. He just wanted anybody. So I was like, listen, he's ready to go. Okay, you really want him. Let's do this. She's just staring at me. So I'm like, okay, this is great. I did not entertain his conversation whatsoever. I ended up leaving with her, and I'm like, we're not doing this. As we're leaving, the guy that I think is cute is passing, and he looks in and he just waves. That was it. Nothing else, a wave. She's still mad. So I'm like, what happened here? She ends up sending me a really long paragraph that night about how she's upset that her guy said the kiss thing when I literally was trying to be her wing woman, and then she was mad that the guy I thought was cute waved at me. So this is just the beginning. Get ready for part 2. Welcome to part 2. So this entire book, I shouldn't even call it a paragraph. This book is her describing how she's upset because she thinks I'm pretty. She's describing how she's upset that the guy I think is cute waved at me. And I said, why would that make you upset? Like, you should be happy for me because that's the only interaction I've had with this man. She did not care. I couldn't understand feeling like insecure, but I didn't do anything wrong. But she was directing her anger at me. So that was that. Let's fast forward, and I actually started talking to a guy at college. And this was like actually, like, we weren't dating, but we were seeing each other. This is where it gets really, really weird, okay? Things are going well with this guy. He's literally sleeping over. She literally has the audacity to text me one day and go, hey, so I think me, you, and blank should go on a vacation together. Maybe we can share him. She did not mean, like, all of us having a party together, and which I would also not be okay with. She literally, to the T, wrote, I can have him one night, you can have him the other. A guy that I'm actually, like, talking to. Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how you have the audacity to bring that up. I kind of let that slide because, again, I always took her back after a fight. I don't know why. I think it's because I felt sorry that she didn't really have any other friends, and I've known her for so long, so I'm like, oh, it's just like something that she does. I ended up leaving the college like a few months later. I just wanted to do different things, and thankfully I did because during this time is when I met my now husband. She did not like this. She did not like that A, I had somebody who liked me, and she also didn't like that B, I left the school. She ended up leaving the school shortly after as well, and she kind of refused to ever meet my now husband. She did meet him once. We all went to get bagels, but like anytime he was visiting from England, I'd be like, oh, like, I really want you to see Sam. And she would be like, no, And I was like, okay, that's kind of strange. Over this time, she was having a few different boyfriends, and she cheated on every single one of them, sometimes with their best friends. So this is when I started pushing away, because I'm like, I don't want to be friends with someone who has no remorse for something like that. We decided to go on a little girls' getaway upstate, and she is at the supermarket with me, and she goes, what should we cook them for dinner tonight? I go, who? Like, we're in the middle of nowhere. Who are we cooking dinner for? Go to part 2. I'm so sorry. Welcome to part 3. This girl has the audacity to say that these 2 guys are coming over. One for me, one for her. I'm dating Sam at the time, okay? I think we were together maybe like 2 years at this point. I'm like, are you actually kidding me? She had these 2 guys come over, and I said to her, if you leave me alone with one of these men, I will never talk to you again. Thankfully, she did not, but I was not happy. I was texting Sam the whole time like, I have to get out of here. Also, side note, the guy that she was like bringing over, she cheated with her other boyfriend with this guy at one point, but she said it was one pump, so it didn't count as cheating. Now, the next part is probably the worst thing that she has ever done, and I don't know how I took her back after this. This should have been the last straw. But one of my friends passed away, and the day after she passed away, Olivia was gossiping about it to everybody. She messaged me, and she messaged my other friend, and she was like, hey, did you hear this is how she died? It wasn't even correct. Like, it wasn't even the way that she died, and she was just gossiping about it. So I said, yes, I understand that she passed. She was a close friend of mine, and I'd rather not talk about that. And she goes, oh, sorry, didn't know you guys were best friends. That was her reply to me saying that I was upset. Keep in mind, throughout our entire friendship, she never once was there for me. Like, anytime I needed her, she wasn't there. But every time she needed me, I dropped everything like that. Everyone around me, my friends and family, were always like, why are you still friends with her? She treats you like garbage, and I just couldn't see it. But after my friend passed and she was just making it a gossip thing and then not even showing her support or anything, that's when I was like, all right, you're disgusting. Anytime I would call her out on something, she would end up blocking me on legitimately every single platform. I don't know why. It was almost like I did something wrong. So she would block me, and then whenever she decided like, oh, okay, I'm going to message her now, she would just message me like nothing happened. She would literally message like, hey, how are you? Not an apology, not anything. After the whole friend thing happened, I ended up taking her back again. It sounds like we're in a relationship. I ended up taking her back, and this is when it was like around the time of my wedding. So we were talking about my wedding. I was so excited. I obviously sent her the bridal shower invitation, the wedding invitation. She did not come to either one. My best friend did not come to our wedding. She didn't even send a congratulations card. She didn't even say congratulations. She also did say she was going to come to the bridal shower, and she just didn't come. Her parents are also just as bad because they've known me since I was 5 years old, and they couldn't even say congrats. So I was just like, this whole family is so toxic. And to this day, she has still been messaging me. And guess what, guys? I have not answered. So I'm finally done. Get rid of the toxic people in your life.
Everyone's talking about their friends that they had that secretly hated them. That reminds me of a tale. Story time. So this begins in 4th grade. There was a new girl in my class. Every time there was a new kid, I would love making friends with them. I was so shy in elementary school. Anyone who didn't have a preconceived connotation of me, I just wanted to befriend them. So I'm driving home from school with my mom, and literally like 3 houses down from me, I see her playing in her front yard. So the next day at school, I said to her, do you live in, and I said my neighborhood, and she was like, yeah. I was like, I live right there. And she was like, cool. I don't know how we became friends after that, but we did. We were attached at the hip. We hung out every single day for years. Now we're in 7th grade. I'm noticing that she's starting to get a little boy crazy. If you've ever had a girlfriend that's boy crazy, you know where this story is heading. Girls that prioritize men and male validation, they're gonna choose guys over you 10 out of 10 times. Every time I would hang out with her, she would be texting boys. We'd be jumping on the trampoline, and she would stop every 2 minutes to pull out her little Envy phone and text some boys. As 7th grader, she started doing acts with this one boy in particular, and I had no interest in that. I was literally 12. I was nowhere near that. So we were already starting to go on some different paths here. So one day we had another friend that was mutual, both of us, and we were all hanging out at my house. I need to give the girl a name. The boy crazy girl, her name is Anna in this story. Anna is like, let's go to the high school football game. And the other friend we were with, let's call her Cheryl. Me and Cheryl and Anna get there, and immediately Anna ditches us to talk to some boys. Me and Cheryl are just kind of there like, what do we do now? Also, this is one of like the first times that Cheryl has hung out with us. After like a few hours of Anna completely ditching us, she's just talking to these boys the whole time. And I do want to note too, these weren't even cool boys. They were kind of like weird. They were just gross. Like, I'm sorry. If you're gonna be obsessed with some boys, at least make them cute. Cheryl says to me, look, I'm nervous. I didn't tell my mom that I was gonna be here. It's getting dark. Like, can we please go back? I was like, yeah, like that's not a problem. So I call my mom to pick me up. I'm telling Anna, like, look, Cheryl has to go home. Like, I wanna leave. I'm not really having fun either. We're gonna go. You can come with us if you want. Things are about to get really juicy, but go to part 2. We're gonna go. You can come with us if you want, but like, you don't have to. And she was so mad. I guess because like we were her ride. When we get back to my house, we go into my basement. Mind you, it's still me, Anna, and Cheryl, our other friend that we've only hung out with once. All of a sudden, Anna starts screaming at me, saying stuff like, you are just jealous that I was hanging out with these guys and you made me leave. You're a horrible friend. Screaming me out in front of this other friend that we barely know. I was mortified and she's screaming. It was abusive. Like, I was traumatized. And mind you, I wasn't even saying anything back to her. I was just sitting there crying. Never again will that be me. But I was a 7th grader. Again, the reason we left was because Cheryl was stressed and wanted to leave. Anna had ditched us anyway. Even like telling this story now, like my heart rate is elevated because it was so disgusting how she treated me in front of someone else. It's one thing to yell at your friend. I've never yelled at any of my friends like that. And then it's another thing to do it in front of someone else that you're not even comfortable with. Like, who does that? My mom actually could hear Anna screaming at me. She comes downstairs and is listening from around the corner. And let me tell you, my mother, she's a strong woman and she's also my biggest fan. So she's listening to this and she's like, hell no. My mom pops out from around the corner and she puts Anna into her place. I tell my mom everything, so she knew all the tea about Anna and how Anna was always ditching me for boys and like kind of sucked, honestly. She was not a good friend. So she brought out the receipts. Am I proud that my mother had to step in and put a 7th grader in her place because I couldn't? No. But am I glad she did it in that moment when I was completely just sitting there on the beanbag crying my eyes out? Oh yes. And I would have her do it again. After my mom came down and cut the conversation off real quick, and I got real quiet. And I'll never forget me, Cheryl, and Anna sitting on the couch watching TV after this moment in dead silence. I have never been more uncomfortable in my entire life. They finally leave, and that ended our friendship. It's like days and moments like these, it like changes something in your brain chemistry. I'm never letting someone treat me like that ever again. She can honestly suck my ass. After this fight, Anna's mom called my mom up screaming at her. You know it's real when the moms beef too. Like, I've never been so glad to end a friendship in my entire life. I actually timed the story good this time.
Do not become friends with a girl who has 0 friends and all she does is talk shit about her old friend group and her ex-best friend, because I promise you, you will find out why she has no friends. This video, we're gonna call her Underboob because that's all she posts on her TikTok and Visco. But basically, I'm from Calgary, she's a girl from Calgary, she was an online friend. This is why meeting friends off social media can either be a hit or a miss, because I hung out with her once and I realized she's crazy. The worst part is that I was friends with one of her ex-best friends, and Underboob basically brainwashed me to think that the other girl was like crazy, not a good friend, wouldn't be a good friend. So I basically cut that girl off. And then I realized that Underboob was the crazy one. A couple months ago, I was back in Calgary and I was going out with my best friend. So I decided to invite Underboob because she said she wanted to hang out when I was back in Calgary. She offered to drive, so she comes to my friend's apartment to pick us up. I was drinking a little because pre-game, I don't really drink that often, but my best friend made us mojitos, so yeah, my face got a little bit red. Literally the first thing this girl says, this is my first time meeting her, like 5 seconds after saying, oh my god, it's so nice to meet you, she literally goes, Oh wow, your face does get red. I literally turned to my best friend because that's like one of my biggest insecurities, and she's like, oh no, like don't worry, it's not that bad, like it just looks like blush. If you're new here, my type is a sexy black light-skinned man, and my best friend was like, yeah, we have to go to this one club because that's where they're at. I was like, perfect, like I literally never go out, so I have no idea where to go. So we get there and it's like we were early, so it wasn't really that exciting. Underboob moved us to another club because she was not having a good time, I guess. And basically the entire night we were just going to different clubs and she was trying to find her friends, which like I really did not know that that was our plan, was her trying to meet up with her friends. So we finally get to this rooftop bar, I think it was Craft or National, and she finds her friends. And this girl doesn't even introduce us. We're just standing there. I feel bad. These people probably thought we were just like creeps, like following her, because she literally did not introduce us to her friends. Any normal person would be like, oh, I'm here with Josie and Casey, like I just met them tonight, we're going out, like blah blah blah. This girl is definitely the type to choose guys over her friends because the way that she booked it to her guy friends and the guy that she was talking to and literally just forgot that she had came with us was actually crazy. I was not having a good night, so me and my best friend decided to Uber home early, and this was the most awkward part because I was like, oh, I think me and Casey are gonna go home, and she was like, okay, and I had to be the one to initiate. I was like, oh my god, it was so nice to meet you, and gave her a goodbye hug. But like if I didn't do that, she was just gonna be like, okay, bye. Like Underboob had posted a picture with me and my best friend on her Snapchat story, and literally on the Uber home, I'm checking my DMs and her ex-boyfriend is in my DMs. So I screenshot it and I sent it to her. I was like, what is he doing here? Like, I don't even know how he found my Instagram. And she's like, oh yeah, like he DM'd all my friends tonight. I was like, huh? She was supposed to be our driver home, but she was very intoxicated and she wanted to leave with a man. So yeah, after meeting her that one time, I really realized that she was not my type of vibe, so I kind of just stopped talking to her. But the other day she unadded me off Snapchat, so I unfollowed her on Instagram. I feel like that's the normal thing to do. Then go onto my phone and I see a DM. It's like, girl, not you unfollowing me, you literally unadded me on Snapchat. Like, why are you being so dramatic? You made the move first. I could only see the preview of the DM, so I go to click on it and she blocked me, which I just thought was funny because this girl is like known for just going through friends. Clearly, she needs to work on herself. She's the girl that will choose a guy over you in seconds and needs the male validation clearly because she just abandoned us when we went out with her. Is it just me or is it weird that this girl would go through my following and follow random people that she does not know that are like my friends? And some of them, like, I have not even ever met. They live in a different country. We're online friends off TikTok, and I know that she is going through my following and finding these people because, like, there's no way this girl could have known them. I just thought that was really weird. I was like, girl, you really need friends that badly? I'm honestly really glad that she blocked me because I was able to rekindle my friendship with the girl that that Underboob basically brainwashed me about, because I know that that girl is a good person, and now we can just bond over our trauma of having to be friends with this girl. I'm a little bit scared about what Underboob might be talking shit about me now to other people because that's what she did to me about my other friends. But you know what? I don't think she has anybody to talk shit to. She's running out of people. She also doesn't see a problem with talking to a man with a girlfriend because she thinks that she's better than everyone else. But I'm gonna let her get her karma one day for that. At the end of the day, you get to choose who you're friends with and who is in your circle. So just be careful because people are not always how they seem on social media. And it's really scary when you meet these people and like, obviously they can be very manipulative, but you just won't kiki with everybody. But I'm glad that I was able to rekindle with my old friends. So I guess this worked out for the best. This girl needs to leave Calgary because I don't think anyone there likes you.
This is a story time of how I felt like I was part of a friend group and then realizing that I was never really accepted, and I didn't find out until months later. So I met this group through my boyfriend, and some of the females were there with his guy friends, and so I didn't really know if I wanted to be friends with them just because I've been burned so many times when it has come to female friendships, and I honestly just didn't want the drama. But I ended up giving it a chance, and we kind of started to kind of get to know each other a little bit. We ended up going out to the bars a lot, having fun. They even came over to my apartment and we did some crafts and everything seemed fine. Disclaimer, I do not drink at all, and I feel like that's pretty important. So one night, the night that we had decided for them to come over to my apartment and do the crafts, I was speaking with another girl that was there, and mind you, this girl isn't really part of the story, but that's another story time. That's not really anything crazy. But she just wasn't really around as much, and so we were just sharing like mutual stories of what had happened with one of the girls that, you know, everyone in the group knew but wasn't like part of our hangout. And no one was like talking badly. It was more so just kind of expressing what had happened, just speaking from the heart. And after that night, still everything seemed fine. Like, we were trying to make plans. Unfortunately, most of them fell through. And then we were still in each other's like private stories. And I mean, some of the girls were even doing as much as like commenting under my posts and everything, you know, liking them and commenting and things like that. So after that night, some time had passed, and I mean, so much had happened. I lost my job, my great-grandma was in the hospital, and I had a friend pass away. Like, my anxiety was through the roof. So then there was one night that we had gotten invited out to the bars, and we ended up going. And I just wanted to stay home, honestly. I just felt like I was really just overwhelmed, and I just didn't really feel like being in a social mood. But I pushed myself to go anyways, and my boyfriend and I were both just kind of stressed over the situation because I think he could tell how anxious I was, but not to the extent that I was. So I ended up just being quiet most of the night, and I eventually asked if we could leave. I had mentioned to everyone kind of what was going on before we left, just that they didn't just think that we were leaving out of the blue, but everyone seemed super supportive about it. And then a couple months later, I was talking with my boyfriend, and he had mentioned that one of his friends in the group said that I was negative and a problem, and so they didn't want to be around me anymore. And while that stung, I let it go until things started to get really weird. So one day, I ended up sending a harmless snap to one of the girls, and it wasn't anything shady, but after that, she stopped talking to me. She took me off of her private story, and it ended our streak, which was like over 200 days. This felt really out of the blue for me, and I didn't really know why she would have done that. I felt like her, out of everyone in the group, is someone that like I was closer with. So I was really just stumped on why she didn't want to talk to me. And so I just kind of let it be for a while. Until one night we were out at the bars and I saw her out, and I just got a very uninviting look from her. And I was like, what? After that, I was questioning if I had done something wrong to make her not like me. And so I decided to reach out to her and ask her what was going on and if everything was okay, kind of assuming the reason she hadn't talked to me before maybe was more of a family issue rather than anything else, more something personal, until that night out at the bars. And so then her response to me was wild, to say the least. She basically said that I hate going out and that I complain all the time and I nitpick people's outfits. She even said that first impressions stick, which is crazy because at that point I had known them for 8 months and nobody had said a word to me. So I had explained what I had been going through and how I dealt with anxiety and that I would never attack somebody personally. But she doubled down, even though she was making the same comments that I was. And then in a separate call with 2 other people from the group, it ended up turning into them talking about my job, talking about my personality, just what I felt like just tearing me apart. And while the situation hurt me deeply, I still, care for some people that are in the group. And I'm kind of at a loss in how to move forward with the situation because There were some people, very limited people, that talked to me respectfully and told me how they were feeling rather than bashing me in a sense. But I do wish that they would have just talked to me directly rather than choosing to let it go. But then behaviors are changing, and I was even, in a sense, told that I shouldn't be messaging anyone about it and I should just let it go due to the fact that they didn't bring it up, but nobody was saying anything. And because I brought it up, it was an issue, even though their behaviors had changed. That situation brought a lot to light for me. I definitely take accountability for some of the things I was doing, and obviously, like, I'm changing those things, but at the same time, I feel like my character was taken in a very negative light, where that is not who I am as a person, and they couldn't have possibly known who I am as a person to judge me like that, because the only time that they have ever seen me is when they are intoxicated out at the bars, besides one other time. Mind you, like, this situation made me so emotional, and I feel like I'm better off knowing how these people truly feel about me, but I guess I just think that I don't even know what the word is for someone that can sit there and smile in your face and act like everything's okay when they're feeling the complete opposite behind your back.